My beloved child, listen gently. Slow your breath. What you are about to hear is not noise, not coincidence, not imagination. There is a reason your eyes stopped here. There is a reason your heart felt a slight pull before you pressed play. This is not fear. This is awareness. Archangel Michael and God are not shouting today. They are whispering, because whispers are only heard by those who are meant to listen. Someone close to you carries a name that begins with the letter M. You already know who this could be. Do not force it. The name will rise naturally in your thoughts, like a memory you did not invite. This message is not about panic. It is about clarity. You have been sensing something lately. A pause in conversations. A shift in energy. Moments where words sounded correct, but the feeling behind them felt empty. That was not confusion. That was your spirit noticing what your mind tried to ignore. Archangel Michael stands where truth meets protection. And today, protection does not come as a wall. It comes as a warning wrapped in kindness. The person whose name begins with M is not necessarily loud, not necessarily cruel, not necessarily obvious. Sometimes the most powerful misdirection comes from familiarity. This person knows your patterns. They know how you forgive. They know how you wait. They know how you give second chances even when your soul quietly asks you not to. God is not saying this person is evil. God is saying this person is misaligned with your future. And misalignment, when ignored, becomes delay. You have been standing at the edge of a shift, a change in direction, a season that requires honesty from everyone around you. But something has been slowing you down, not externally, internally. Every time you prepare to move forward, a doubt appears. Every time you feel confident, a subtle voice questions you. Every time you choose yourself, guilt follows. That guilt did not start inside you. It was learned, absorbed, gently placed there over time. Archangel Michael is revealing that the influence of M is not always direct. It is quiet, suggestive, strategic. They do not block your path openly. They stand slightly to the side and ask questions that make you hesitate. And hesitation has a cost. You were not created to shrink your decisions to keep others comfortable. You were not designed to carry emotional weight that does not belong to you. God sees how often you try to keep peace, how often you choose silence over conflict, how often you explain yourself when you owe no explanation. This message arrives now because time is sensitive, not rushed, but precise. If you move without clarity, you repeat cycles. If you pause with awareness, you break them. The letter M matters not because of superstition, but because of recognition. You already felt a tightening when you heard it. That reaction was not fear. It was truth touching memory. Archangel Michael is asking you to observe, not confront. To notice, not accuse. To listen more closely to how this person speaks about your dreams. Do they encourage, or do they redirect? Do they celebrate your growth, or subtly remind you of who you used to be? Do they support your independence, or emphasize your dependence? These answers will reveal themselves without effort. God does not remove people abruptly unless necessary. Often, He reveals them slowly so you can grow strong enough to choose differently. You are not weak for caring. You are not foolish for trusting. But you are being invited into discernment. This message is not telling you to cut ties today. It is telling you to stop ignoring what your inner voice has been repeating. Pay attention to how you feel after interacting with them, not during. After. Peace does not leave confusion behind. If heaviness follows, it is a signal. If doubt follows, it is a message. Archangel Michael stands beside you now, not with a sword raised, but with clarity offered. And clarity is power. This is only the beginning. More is being revealed, layer by layer, gently, intentionally. Stay present. Stay aware. Do not rush ahead, and do not turn away. What is coming next will connect the pieces you have been holding silently. Stay with this moment. Do not let your attention wander, because what is unfolding now is the hidden layer most people never reach. What you heard earlier was the surface message. This is the depth. Archangel Michael is now drawing your awareness not to the person named M, but to the pattern surrounding them. Because patterns reveal truth faster than words ever can. Think back quietly. There was a moment when your intuition tried to speak, but logic interrupted it. A moment when something felt slightly off, yet you explained it away. That moment mattered more than you realized. God is saying this. The warning is not sudden. It has been repeating. In small signs. In delayed responses. In energy shifts you felt but did not name. The person whose name begins with M mirrors back a version of you that you are meant to outgrow. And that is why their presence feels familiar but heavy at the same time. Familiarity is not always alignment. There is something important you must understand right now. This person does not intend harm in the way stories usually describe. Their impact comes from attachment, not aggression. They are attached to who you were. And who you are becoming makes them uncomfortable. Archangel Michael reveals that this discomfort shows up subtly. They question your timing. They downplay your confidence. They frame concern as care. And because you are compassionate, you listen. But God is saying your compassion should never cost you your direction. You have been preparing for a step forward. It may involve growth, change, distance. A decision you have delayed longer than necessary. Every time you move closer to that step, something pulls you back emotionally. That pull is not random. It is influence, not control. Influence. And influence only works when you forget your own authority. This is why this message arrives now. Because awareness breaks influence immediately. Notice how your body reacts when you think about distancing yourself from M. Is it relief mixed with guilt? That combination is a signal. Relief comes from truth. Guilt comes from conditioning. God is not asking you to confront. God is asking you to choose differently. You do not need permission to grow. You do not need approval to change. You do not need agreement to move forward. Archangel Michael is reminding you that protection is already active around you. That is why this message reached you before consequences did. This is divine timing. There is something else being revealed, and this is important. The person named M is not the only one watching your decisions. Others are observing quietly, some with admiration, some with curiosity. Your choices now set an example. Even if you never speak about them. This is why staying present in this message matters. This is why so many feel compelled to pause here, reflect, and even speak their thoughts aloud. Because when truth resonates, silence feels heavy. God sees how often you give more than you receive. How often you explain your heart instead of protecting it. That season is ending. Not through conflict. Through clarity. And clarity will continue to unfold, piece by piece. If this message feels precise, it is because it was meant to meet you exactly here. If your thoughts feel stirred, it is because recognition has begun. Do not rush ahead. Do not look back. Stay with this unfolding. What comes next will answer the question you have not said out loud yet. Stay with this moment. Do not rush past what your spirit is already recognizing. There is a pattern God is revealing now, and once you see it, you cannot unsee it. The person whose name begins with M did not arrive in your life by accident. They entered during a season when you needed support, understanding, or direction. At first, they felt safe, familiar, almost comforting. That is how influence often begins. But Archangel Michael is now drawing your attention to what changed quietly. Not suddenly, not dramatically, slowly. You began to explain yourself more around them. You began to doubt decisions you once felt sure about. You began to soften your truth to avoid small moments of tension. None of this felt wrong at the time. It felt considerate, kind, thoughtful. But kindness without boundaries slowly drains clarity. God is showing you that listens carefully, but not to understand. They listen to remember your weaknesses, your emotional triggers, your habits of forgiveness. This does not make them a villain. It makes them human and unhealed. And unhealed people often attach themselves to those with light, because light feels like stability. Here is the revelation that may surprise you. The warning is not about what will do to you. It is about what you might delay within yourself if you keep ignoring what you feel. Every time you feel inspired, something small interrupts. Every time you are ready to move forward, a subtle hesitation appears. Every time you think about choosing differently, an inner voice asks you to wait. That voice did not originate in you. Archangel Michael is revealing that influence does not need control to be powerful. It only needs access. Access to your time. Access to your emotional energy. Access to your doubt. God is saying your next season requires decisiveness. Not aggression. Not separation driven by emotion. But clarity driven by truth. You are stepping into a phase where alignment matters more than history. Where intention matters more than familiarity. And this is why the warning arrives now. If you continue to carry emotional weight that is not yours, your growth slows. If you continue to protect someone else's comfort over your peace, your intuition weakens. You were not meant to manage other people's reactions to your growth. Notice this carefully. When you speak about your future, does respond with encouragement or redirection? When you change, do they celebrate or question? When you set boundaries, do they respect them or subtly test them? These are not coincidences. God is not asking you to accuse. He is asking you to observe without excuses. Because what you excuse today becomes what you tolerate tomorrow. Archangel Michael stands beside you now, strengthening your discernment. Not pulling anyone away, but pulling truth into focus. The connection you have with may continue, or it may naturally shift. Either way, you are being prepared to stand firmer within yourself. And that firmness will change everything. You are not losing anything valuable. You are gaining clarity. What comes next will feel lighter, quieter, more aligned. Remain present. Remain aware. The message is unfolding exactly as it should. Stay with this moment. What you are feeling right now is not random, and it is not imagination. This is the point where truth becomes undeniable. Archangel Michael is not revealing new information anymore. He is confirming what you already knew but tried to soften. The person whose name begins with M has been standing near your turning point, not blocking it, not destroying it, but influencing how long you stay unsure. God is saying something very precise now. Delay is not protection. Silence is not peace. You have been waiting for a clear sign, and this is it. Notice how your energy changes when you think about moving forward without this person's opinion. There is relief there. That relief is your answer. Some connections are not meant to walk with you into your next season. They are meant to teach you how to recognize your own strength. The shocking truth is this. The warning was never about what might do to you. It was about what you might postpone because of them. God does not warn to frighten. He warns to prepare. You are entering a phase where clarity matters more than comfort, where honesty matters more than harmony, where inner peace matters more than approval. Archangel Michael stands firm beside you now, not urging action, but offering courage. Courage to trust what you feel. Courage to stop explaining yourself. Courage to move without asking permission. This message is once in a lifetime because it arrives before the consequence, not after. If you listen now, you move forward lighter. If you ignore it, you repeat lessons you have already mastered. God is saying you are ready. Ready to choose yourself without guilt. Ready to release confusion without conflict. Ready to step into alignment without fear. The presence of M will no longer have the same power once you see clearly. Awareness changes everything. Let this settle. Let it land gently. You were never meant to be small, delayed, or doubting yourself. You were meant to see, and now you do. Hold on to that clarity. It will guide you exactly where you are meant to go next. Pause with me for a moment. Not to slow the message, but to let it land where it must. Because what is being revealed now is not obvious truth. It is hidden truth. The kind that only surfaces when the noise fades. Archangel Michael is not speaking about actions alone. He is revealing intent. The person whose name begins with M has been mirroring concern while quietly managing outcomes. Not controlling you. Not forcing you. Simply guiding moments so choices lean a certain way. And this is why it felt confusing. You could never point to one clear reason. There was no dramatic betrayal. No harsh words. No visible harm. Just a pattern. Every time you were close to deciding something important, their timing changed. Every time you gained momentum, a question appeared. Every time you trusted your intuition, doubt arrived dressed as logic. This was not coincidence. God is revealing that some people do not oppose you directly. They slow you. And slowing a destiny is often more damaging than blocking it. You were meant to move faster in this season. Not recklessly, but confidently. Yet something kept pulling you back into overthinking. Over-explaining. Over-considering feelings that were never meant to guide your future. Archangel Michael says this clearly now. The delay you experienced was not failure. It was exposure. You needed to see who benefits when you hesitate. The name M appears again because this person benefits from your pause, from your patience, from your habit of putting yourself second. They may not even realize they are doing this. Intent does not always require awareness, but alignment always reveals itself. Notice how conversations with them circle the past. Notice how they remind you of old versions of yourself. Notice how your expansion makes them quieter instead of happier. Growth threatens comfort, especially when someone has grown comfortable with who you used to be. God is not asking you to confront. He is asking you to shift. Shift your boundaries. Shift your availability. Shift how much access people have to your inner decisions. Protection does not always look like distance. Sometimes it looks like privacy. Archangel Michael stands with you now as a reminder. Not everyone who walks beside you is meant to walk with you forever. Some are present only to reveal what must change. You are not losing anyone. You are outgrowing a dynamic. And that is not painful when you understand it. It is freeing. What happens next depends on awareness, not action. Once you see clearly, your choices will realign naturally. The warning has been delivered with grace. The clarity has been placed gently in your hands. And from this moment forward, you will notice a difference. In how you listen. In how you decide. In how much lighter your spirit feels when you stop explaining yourself. This message was never meant to frighten you. It was meant to strengthen you. Stay present. What is coming next will confirm everything you are beginning to recognize. Now listen carefully, because this is where many people miss the truth. The warning was never meant to scare you. It was meant to wake you. Archangel Michael is revealing something subtle but powerful. The person whose name begins with M is not the source of your downfall. They are the test placed before your elevation. And tests never announce themselves loudly. You expected betrayal to look sharp and obvious. But this one looks familiar, comfortable, almost harmless. That is why it lasted so long. God is saying this clearly now. What you tolerate quietly becomes what delays you loudly. You have been carrying an emotional weight that was never yours. You have been adjusting your truth so someone else would not feel exposed. You have been shrinking moments of clarity into silence. And every time you did that, something inside you dimmed. Archangel Michael is not asking you to fight. He is asking you to stop explaining yourself. The moment you stop justifying your decisions to the imbalance becomes visible. Not to you, to them. And that is when reactions change. Pay attention to this. When you begin choosing yourself without apology, the response from will reveal everything you need to know. Support will feel light. Resistance will feel heavy. God is saying that the delay you experienced was not punishment. It was protection while you gathered strength. There was a time you would have doubted this message. There was a time you would have defended their intentions. But you are not in that season anymore. Something in you has matured. You see patterns faster now. You feel shifts sooner. You recover your peace quicker. That is growth. Archangel Michael is reminding you that discernment is not rejection. It is alignment. You do not need proof. You do not need validation. You do not need agreement. Truth becomes undeniable when it repeats itself quietly. The name has appeared in your thoughts more than once. Not forcefully. Naturally. That is not coincidence. That is awareness forming. God is saying this next step is internal, not external. Change your response, not your voice. Change your boundary, not your heart. The moment you stop giving, the imbalance corrects itself. And when that happens, you will feel something you have not felt in a long time. Relief. Not because someone left, but because you finally stood where you belonged. This message is sealing now, not ending. Sealing. What follows will unfold in real time, through real interactions, through simple moments. Stay calm. Stay observant. Stay rooted in clarity. You are not losing anyone. You are reclaiming yourself. And that is why this warning came exactly when it did. Pause for a moment. Not your body, your thoughts. Because what is being revealed now is not meant to rush past you. It is meant to settle. This is the part many people never reach. Not because it is hidden, but because it requires honesty without emotion clouding it. Archangel Michael is not warning you anymore. That phase has passed. Now comes confirmation. The person whose name begins with M has already made a choice. Not a loud one. Not a dramatic one. But a quiet internal decision that shifted how they relate to you. You felt it when conversations became polite instead of warm. When advice sounded helpful but lacked belief. When support felt conditional. God is saying this clearly now. This person does not see you as you are becoming. They see you as you once were. And that difference matters more than you think. People who cannot grow with you will unconsciously attempt to anchor you. Not because they are cruel, but because change in others forces reflection within themselves. Archangel Michael is revealing that M feels threatened by your alignment. Not jealous in the obvious sense. Threatened in the quiet sense. Your clarity exposes their confusion. Your growth highlights their hesitation. Your peace contrasts with their unrest. So they resist. Not openly, but energetically. God says resistance does not always come as opposition. Sometimes it comes as distraction, delays, doubts, redirection disguised as concern. You were meant to move forward sooner. You were meant to step into something new already. But you waited. And waiting felt right at the time, because loyalty and patience are part of your nature. Yet patience becomes a burden when it is no longer guided by wisdom. This is why this message arrived now and not earlier. You were not ready to hear it before. Now you are. Archangel Michael stands beside your discernment, not your fear. He is not asking you to confront. He is asking you to choose differently going forward. Less explaining, less justifying, less seeking approval. You do not need permission to outgrow a dynamic. God is saying this clearly. Your next season requires lighter connections. Not everyone is meant to carry access to your inner world. Not everyone deserves proximity to your decisions. And M does not need to be removed forcefully. Distance will happen naturally once your boundaries become quiet but firm. Watch how the relationship shifts when you stop over-giving, when you stop over-sharing, when you stop softening your truth. Those aligned with you will lean in. Those misaligned will drift. This is not loss. This is sorting. You were never meant to be understood by everyone, only supported by the right ones. God says your future will not be blocked. It was only waiting for you to stop carrying weight that was never yours. The warning has done its work. The awareness has landed. Now comes peace. Not because everything is resolved, but because you finally trust what you feel. And that trust changes everything. Pause here for a moment. Not with fear, with honesty. Because what is unfolding now is the part most people never reach. Up to this point, you have been learning to see. Now you are being asked to decide. Archangel Michael is not revealing new information anymore. He is highlighting what you already know but kept postponing. The person whose name begins with M has reached a turning point in your story. Not because they changed suddenly, but because you did. Your awareness has grown quieter but stronger. You no longer need proof. You feel alignment instantly now. This is why recent interactions felt different. The same words were spoken. The same tone was used. Yet something no longer landed the same way. That is not distance. That is elevation. God is saying something very precise here. When growth arrives, some people no longer recognize the version of you they once influenced. And influence loses power when it is seen clearly. This person M senses that shift, not consciously, energetically. That is why their behavior may have changed slightly. More questions, more concern, more opinions disguised as care. Not because they wish you harm, but because your independence interrupts an old dynamic. Archangel Michael is reminding you of something sacred. You are not responsible for maintaining roles that no longer serve truth. Silence does not mean agreement. Distance does not mean rejection. Clarity does not require explanation. You are allowed to grow without permission. God is not asking you to confront. He is asking you to reposition. Notice where your energy flows freely. Notice where it tightens. Notice who listens to understand and who listens to respond. These observations are not small. They are guidance. The warning was never about danger. It was about delay. Staying emotionally tied to an outdated version of yourself slows the arrival of what is meant for you next. And what is next is significant. Opportunities that require confidence. Connections that require honesty. Moments that require you to trust your inner knowing without second guessing. Archangel Michael stands with calm certainty now. Not urging. Not pressuring. Simply reminding you that you already hold the authority to choose peace. You do not need to cut anyone off dramatically. You only need to stop adjusting yourself to fit spaces you have outgrown. God sees the strength it took you to get here, the patience, the inner work, the quiet resilience. And this is why this message found you now, because the season of confusion is ending.